Chapter 5. Who was involved? A. Warmer, group share. Share with your chairmate an interesting, important, or surprising piece of news that you have heard from TV, radio, newspaper, or people around you. Take turns doing that. Consider the following questions when sharing. 1. Where did you get the news item from? Did you get it from TV, radio, newspaper, or people around you? 2. What is the news about? 3. Where did it happen? 4. When did it happen? 5. Do you consider the news item interesting, important, or surprising? Why do you think so? B. Vocabulary builder. Task: find the meanings of the words. Guess the meaning of each following word. Then, check them with your friends. Consult your dictionary when necessary. After that, practice pronouncing the words with your friend. Obey. Regulation. Occurrence. Tenant. Owner. B. Accustomed. Abandon. Concern. C. Listening. Task 1. Listen to the news item. Your teacher will read this piece of news aloud. Check whether you can answer the questions following that. Task 2. Do the comprehension questions. Answer the following questions correctly based on the news you have just heard. 1. What is the news about? 2. Where did it happen? 3. When did it happen? 4. Why did that happen? 5. Who were involved in the event? 6. How serious was the violation? Why do you think so? 7. Are you in favor of Mr. Sabejo's decision or against it? Why? 8. In your opinion, what can prevent us from committing such a crime? D. Reading. Task 1. Read the text aloud. Take turns to practice reading the news aloud. Pay attention to your pronunciation. Text 1. Since 1981, the Humber Bridge in England has been the world's longest span, 1,410 meters bridge. Like most other long-span bridges, it is a suspension bridge. In a suspension bridge, the bridge deck hangs, or is suspended, from thick steel cables. They are made of tens of thousands of kilometers of thin steel wires bound together. The cables go up and over tall towers on either side of the gap to be spanned. They are anchored firmly at each end. In the largest suspension bridges, the towers have to be built slightly out of parallel to allow for the curve of the earth. Source: Children's First Cyclopedia, compiled by M. Dempsey. Text 2. The construction of the Jakarta metropolitan area's new 21-kilometer-long Antasari, Depok, Bogor Toll Road kicked off on Thursday as the government boosted efforts to support the capital city's expansion. The toll road connection will give the public an alternative access to ease congestion on JL Sawangan and JL Margonda in Depok, which is the only major route to Jakarta from Depok. The Antasari Depok Toll Road is an important project as it is part of the ring and radial road system in Jakarta, Public Works Ministry Director General of Highways Joko Merjanto said during the launch. Source: The Jakarta Post, May 9, 2014. Aspects. Text 1. Text 2. Social function. What is the purpose of the text? Text structure. How are the ideas in the text organized? Linguistic features. Task 2. Observe the texts. Read the texts in Task 1 again and answer the following questions orally. 1. Do you know reported speech? In which text did you find reported speech? 2. Do you think that reported speech is commonly found in texts like text 2? Why do you think so? Task 3. Let's make comprehension questions. Create your own questions about the two texts. Do you have any questions so far about the two texts? Write down your questions and ask your friends or your teacher to get the answers. Task 4. Think about it. Before you read the following news item about tenants of apartments, talk about these things in small groups. 1. Do you find any apartment in your towns or cities? 2. Where are apartments usually found? 3. What do apartments generally look like? 4. How are apartments different from houses? 5. Can you think of the advantages or disadvantages of living in an apartment compared to living in a house? Task 5. Read the text. Read the following text carefully. Answer the comprehension questions briefly. Tenants advised to obey regulations on apartment Jakarta. A building architect has advised families planning to live in an apartment to study all the relevant regulations prior to moving in to help prevent unexpected security-related occurrences. Tenants must obey certain regulations when living in an apartment, which is far different from living in a landed house, Fendi Ibu said. Tenants of an apartment should abide by regulations set by the owner of the high-rise building, he added. This is important, especially for a family that has a young child, he was quoted as saying by Oakzone.com. According to him, the trend of living in an apartment in Jakarta started only 10 years ago. Living in an apartment has increasingly become popular. Most of Jakarta's residents are more accustomed to living in a landed house, and when they live in an apartment, many are not ready for apartment living habits and regulations. They have to abandon their mindset of living in a landed house, he said. He said that an owner of apartment should also consider aspects of designing and building materials that are safe for children. The quality of building materials should be prioritized, he said. Children's safety should be the main concern with regards to the building materials that are used, he said. Adapted from the Jakarta Post, May 9, 2014. Answer the questions briefly. 1. What is the source of the text? 2. What is the text about? What is the social function of the text? 3. Which one is the headline? Write it down. 4. Why do you think living in an apartment is getting popular? 5. Can you identify some regulations of living in an apartment? What are they? 6. Who sets the regulations? 7. Did you find any information about who in the text? 8. Did you find any information about where in the text? 9. Did you find any information about what in the text? 10. Did you find any information about why in the text? E. Vocabulary exercise. Task 1. Fill in the blanks. Use the words in the box to complete the following sentences. Obey regulations occurrences owner abandon concerned tenants. B. Accustomed to. 1. The government has just launched new ___ to make taxpayers comply with their obligation. 2. ___ are required to pay a deposit, which usually amounts to a 1-month rent. 3. The new governor advised the city residents to wake up and ___ the rules, so that the capital city would develop as expected. 4. Many people had to ___ their residence because of the frequent heavy earthquakes. 5. Under the new regulations, the underscore of the rented house has to be responsible for the provision of convenient facilities. 6. Underscore of traffic accidents in this highway are getting higher and higher, which implies the need for more strict rules on speed limit. 7. At present, the underscore of the government is related to educating girls living in rural areas. 8. The family members seem to underscore the severe weather changes in this country. Task 2. Create your own sentences. Study the list of words in Task 1 again. Create your own sentences using the words. F. Grammar review. Task 1. Observe the reported speech. Observe the verbs used to report what the participant in the news said. Then, find all the direct speeches in the text about tenants of apartment and change them into reported, indirect speech. Direct, he said tenants have to obey certain regulations. Reported, indirect, he said tenants had to obey certain regulations. Rewrite the text. All of the direct speeches have to be changed to reported, indirect speeches. Direct, he said many tenants are not ready for apartment living habits. Reported, indirect, he said many tenants were not ready for apartment living habit. Task 2. Observe the past verbs. Look through the text again. You will find many verbs in the past form, e.g. said, added, etc. The verbs are used in the past form to report events in the news item because the events actually happened. Please underline the past verbs in the text. Task 3. What are the verbs? Put the verbs in brackets into the correct past form. 1. The distribution of NKRI maps began at Katarwarga Elementary School last Friday. 2. The policy on higher minimum wages bring greater prosperity to local workers. 3. Limited infrastructure and facilities such as clean water resources, schools, and healthcare services worsen the life quality of the local residents. For my grandfather fly to Denpasar the other day for a senior citizen award. 5. One victim tell the online news portal about the incident on Saturday night. 6. It's so sad that many spectators throw trash in the city stadium during the final football match last week. 7. The local people build the mosque in the 16th century, and the mosque now becomes one of the official cultural heritage sites. 8. The online enrollment system be in accordance with the central government's instruction. 9. Local poets and musicians get wider recognition as the provincial administration grant awards to traditional artists. 10. The anniversary events draw large number of people to come and celebrate. G. Text structure. Task 1. Observe the text structure. What do you know about a news item text? Read the explanation below to know more about news item text and its text structure. Then, reread the texts in this chapter and identify their text structures. Do it in a table like the following. The previous text about tenants of apartments is called a news item. The function of a news item is to inform readers or listeners about events of the day that are considered important or newsworthy. How are news items written? They usually start with an eye-catching title, the headline. The headline needs to be very interesting to attract readers' attention. The first paragraph in the news item is called the lead paragraph, which usually contains the details about who, where, what, and why. They summarize the events. Supporting paragraphs elaborate the summary of the events in more details. Parts of the text information from the text headline summary of events who, where, what, why. Quotes any quote from authorities or people involved. Task 2. Download a news item text. Follow these steps to download a news item text from the given site. Then, answer the given questions below based on the text, and discuss the answers with your class. 1. In pairs, download a piece of news from this address, http://www.dailymail.co.uk. 2. Think individually, read the news item carefully. Then, respond to the following questions. A. What is the news about? B. Who wrote the news? C. When was the news published? D. Who was Trisha Prabhu? E. Why was she called Tech Whiz? What did she create? F. How does rethink work? What prompt appears as warning? G. Did Trisha conduct trials to prove how the software works? What did the results show? H. What has inspired Trisha to develop the software? I. How does the stop, block, and tell method work? J. What did Trisha think about technology and responsibility among teens? 3. In pairs, discuss your answers. Compare your answers to those of your friends. 4. Check your answers with the whole class. 5. In pairs, identify the direct speech in the text. Change the direct speech to reported, indirect speech. Task 3. Find another example of a news item text. In groups, choose an interesting or newsworthy event reported in a newspaper. You can go to the library or search in the internet. Use the following questions to help you select the text. 1. Is the headline interesting? 2. Is the information useful to share? Why do you think so? Parts of the text information from the text headline summary of events who, where, what, why. Present your text neatly and attractively so that the other groups want to read it. Take turns sharing the information you have with the class. Task 4. Find the direct speech. Look through your text again. Write down the direct speech. Then, put the direct speech into indirect, reported speech. Share what you have with the class. H. Writing enrichment. Task 1. What is the trending news? Write a piece of news item by responding to these questions. 1. What is the trending news you heard on TV or read in newspaper today? 2. What information can you collect? What are the details of information? Who, where, what, why? Task 2. Write a news item. Choose an interesting or newsworthy event that has happened at or around the school. Write it up in the form of newspaper report for publication in your school magazine. Include these elements when writing. 1. Headline, interesting. Smart. 2. Lead paragraph, summary of events. Who? Where? What? Why? 3. Supporting paragraphs, more detailed information of the summary. Who? Where? What? Why? Then, follow these steps. Steps. 1. Write the headline. 2. Write the details of the news. 3. Include direct speech in your text. Please write and present your text neatly and attractively. Task 3. Let's do some peer editing. Work in pairs. Exchange your writing. Check your friend's writing. Pay attention to these points when reading it. 1. The text structure, headline, summary of events in the lead paragraph, what? When in detailed elaboration of the events in the supporting paragraphs, who? Where? What? Why? 2. The use of past verbs. 3. The use of direct speech. 4. Spelling. 5. Punctuation. 6. Capitalization. 7. Formatting. Communicating. Task 1. Complete the closed news. Fill in the blanks in the following news with the appropriate words in the box. Sun. Described. Announced. Told. Expect. Like. Winner. News. But. British playwright Harold Pinter, a master of sparse dialogue and menacing silences who has been an outspoken critic of the US-led war in Iraq, was the surprise underscore of the Nobel Literature Prize on Thursday. The 75-year-old Londoner, underscore of a Jewish dressmaker, is one of Britain's best-known dramatists for plays underscore The Birthday Party and The Caretaker, whose mundane dialogue with sinister undercurrents gave rise to the adjective Pinteresque. An intimidating presence with bushy eyebrows and a rich voice, he was underscore by Swedish Academy head Horace Engdahl, who underscore the prize, as the towering figure in English drama in the second half of the 20th century. Pinter underscore Reuters television, he was overwhelmed by the underscore. I haven't had time to think about it underscore. I am very, very moved. It was something I did not underscore at all at any time. Taken from the Jakarta Post, October 14, 2005. Task 2. Rewrite the news. Rewrite the news above using your own words. Use this sentence to begin your rewriting. Harold Pinter was a British playwright. Task 3. Write a news report. The following are notes from a journalist's notebook. Read it carefully. Then, follow the instructions below. 1. International donors to Vietnam, Indonesia, and Laos announced on Thursday. 2. More than $17 million to help fight the bird flu virus. 3. The virus having killed more than 60 people in Asia. 4. Triggering fears of a global pandemic. 5. A top-level delegation of U.S. and global health officials touring Southeast Asia. 6. Searching for ways to curb the spread of the H5N1 virus. Write a newspaper report using those notes. Read again the previous examples of newspaper reports. In listening, Task 1, reading, Task 1 and Task 5, and communicating, Task 1/closed test, to give you ideas on how to make one. Remember to include these elements in writing. Instructions. 1. Write an interesting headline. 2. Write the summary of the events in the lead paragraph. Who? Where? What? Why? 3. Provide quotes, direct speech, from the people involved. 4. Use past verbs. 5. Pay attention to spelling, punctuation, capitalization, and formatting. Task 4. Retell the event. Study the notes in Task 3. Imagine yourself as a news reader on a radio or television. Retell the news to the class. Good afternoon, Indonesia. Good afternoon, Jakarta. It's a sunny day, May 25th, 2016. This is Agnes, serving you the most leading news of the hour. Reflection. At the end of this chapter, ask yourself the following questions to know your learning progress. Do you know how to create a news item? Respond to these questions to check whether you understand how to create a news item. 1. Do you use a catchy and interesting headline? 2. Do you have a lead paragraph that summarizes the important event? 3. Do you elaborate the summary into more detailed information? 4. Do you provide direct speech? 5. Do you use past verbs? 6. Do you pay attention to spelling, punctuation, capitalization, and formatting? If you answer no to any of the questions above, please discuss it with your friends or consult it with your teacher. End of Chapter 5.